Good morning everyone and welcome to today's video. The age-old question that I'm already getting, is Call of Dragons dying? I don't know, but we will find out today with my opinion and thoughts, so stay tuned for today's video. Hello, so yes, we are going over, is Call of Dragons dying? Because I am, funnily enough, already getting this question in my live chat, some comments, obviously in-game and on the Discord, right? So we're getting a bit of feedback, people wondering what's going on basically with Call of Dragons, especially with this channel, because as you guys know, I am bringing out, as you can see, Call of Dragons content every single day. So remember, smash that like, comment and subscribe. But we also have been, diving into like Age of Titans and some other games, as you can tell, because you got to remember where Call of Dragons is. So what we're going to do is break down currently where the game is, and I'm going to show you some really cool ways you can actually check out how the game is doing yourself if you really wanted to. This is a really good tool. You can always do this on different games, and you can always use this for the future, right? So we're going to go and actually zoom out of the map, right? Because I'm going to start the journey of where Call of Dragons is, right? So as you guys know, currently in Call of Dragons, we're in development stage. We are still currently in development, which means the game, when we played it, especially myself, back in, I want to say, October, November time, back of last year, that was when it was beta, right? So we did 4 months of play testing to make sure the foundational mechanics and most of the foundational framework was there, which it was, right? So that's when the game came out, as you can imagine, in April time, right? March, April. So when it came out, everyone was booming, everyone was excited. You could see how much popularity the game has, and we're going to be able to showcase this later too with the story. But you've got to remember, like I said, we're in development. So what this means is, obviously we're in global launch, and the game did have Season 1 map. As well, it was already creating the Season 2 map. This is information we know from server for ourselves, speaking to the devs and just giving us information for the beta players that we knew about. So we've been always knowing this for, I don't even want to say the last 4 or 5 months, but it's been a long time that we always knew there's going to be a Season 2 map. So what they did, as you guys can see, is they made Season 1 Plus, and that's what this map is, which is what I mean. This is after you've finished your very first season, you're going to merge and go into this map, which is the exact same Tamaris map with a little bit of change, right? So as you guys can imagine, this area here is normally blocked off for you guys, but when you go into the fresh new Season 1 Plus, you will get access to this, but it means the new blockade has been shifted across here. And it's a way they have tried to change, basically, the way the PvP system works. Because obviously, from the start of the game, there was different issues that people disliked. So they've been addressing those issues, and at the same time, obviously, developing parts of the game. As you can see with the new 2 heroes coming out, we've got war pets coming out as well, which is a little teaser. So we've got all this coming out all the time. So what does that mean right now? So that means right now Call of Dragons is, as I like to call it, in the rise of civilization era. Yes, it is in the rise of civilization era, and this is basically what I'm going to call the early days. This is when, exactly when, if you was a rock player, someone from Rise of Kingdoms, you will know what I'm talking about. If you are an OG player back in the day, it was originally called Rise of Civilizations, right? It was the first game it was first tap and target like every other game, but within a few months they had a brand new patch which created the open field experience which we all love today. However, Call of Dragons and Rise of Civilizations did the same thing, where they've basically brought the game out, which was really good, but they didn't have everything in place. And what happened was, obviously, players left the game because of the lack of content. And what ended up happening was, within the next year or two, when it became Rise of Kingdoms and they had a load more features in the game, guess what? All the players came back and they stayed, and they grew, and even the player base grew, right? And that's what Rise of Kingdoms did over time. And the thing is, Call of Dragons is doing the same, but at an accelerated pace, because you've got to remember, Call of Dragons is almost like Rise of Kingdoms 2.0. It's a different studio that is making it, which is really cool, but they've already got some sort of base framework, like the open field system they already had. Instead, in Call of Dragons, they added the range mechanic, as you know. They also had, some of the events like the Ark of Osiris, which have already now been introduced into the game, which was called Roots of War. This Ark of Osiris game mode in Rise of Kingdoms didn't come for such a long time, guys. So the fact they've got this within the first year is a really big plus sign for them. It allows players to keep occupied with PvP, but as well as the KVKs. They have their own way of doing a KVK system already. In Rise of Civilizations, I could be one for myself. There was no KVKs. It was everyone for themselves in the whole kingdoms. It was kind of toxic. People hated it. But, it is what it is. And then it became what it was today. Kingdom versus kingdom. So I want to just let you guys know where the game is. And what we're going to do is now show you some really cool info. So what we're on here right now is the Google Trends page. So if you've never done this, you can go on Google, you can just type in Google Trends, and what it does is in here you can type in anything, right? So if you typed in, for example, Coca-Cola, this is the brand Coca-Cola. If I just click this, in the United Kingdom alone, you can see how many times this has been clicked on within the past 24 hours. This is, right? So this is at the moment United Kingdom, located here, and then the past day, right? So you can see how much something has been clicked on, right? So what we can do is, which is really cool, is type in Call of Dragons, and what I want to show you is some information on it, right? So everyone wants to know, is Call of Dragons dying? So this is in the past day here already. You can see some little blips and spikes, which is really cool to see, meaning there's been interest, right? And when you're hitting these really high numbers here, which is 86, and even this one, which is a little bit higher, right? You're gaining really good popularity and interest over time. But what's more interesting is when you do the worldwide, because that was only in the United Kingdom. Now we're worldwide, and look how much Call of Dragons is being searched daily. And this could be to do with the game itself. It could be looking for a YouTuber. They could be typing in MrSneakyy Call of Dragons, Chisgo Call of Dragons. They could be typing Call of Dragons fan art, anything to do with Call of Dragons. Someone is always searching about the game, which is a really, really good testament, right? Because if you compare this, and we can do this as a really cool feature, with Rise of Kingdoms, the big daddy, the first one of its kind, you'll see, obviously, Rise of Kingdoms is more popular. But look how well close these two games are. And it's the fact that Call of Dragons, guys, you've got to look, Call of Dragons has been out only less than a year. It's only been out for less than a year. And the cool thing is, when we do now spread this out for the last 12 months, you're going to be able to see some cool graphs, right? You can see how popular the game was, or is. So this is during the past year. This is basically beta time area, if you want to call it. This is when I started playing. So you could see there was obviously the people looking interested in it. That was the alpha beta testers looking up, looking for something new to play. And then you started gaining the popularity. This is in December time. It starts to come up. And then, as you can imagine, it launched. And as soon as it launched, look how close Call of Dragons is to Rise of Kingdoms currently in the whole retro space of the internet searches, right? And obviously it will go down, but it's a nice little bump. And this little interest here, even though it's only 19 or 20, is very, very promising, because if we get rid of our Call of Dragons here and remove it and just keep Rise of Kingdoms here, and now put it to the past 5 years, or even to 2004, when this game was named Rise of Kingdoms, you're going to see something interesting. This is the exact same graph. So over the past, no one really cared about Rise of Kingdoms. Very similar to what Call of Dragons has done. And then it came out, but because Rise of Kingdoms was the first game almost of its kind, obviously it wasn't as popular in 2019 as Call of Dragons is. You've got to think Call of Dragons has got the momentum of Rise of Kingdoms behind it, allowing it to actually be more influential and a bit more exposed in the game space, right? But from here, look, you see how much it grows. These are times when this was like Rise of Kingdoms, and then you can see some bad times. And then in the last few years, when it goes to 2022 and 2021, it's shot back up, right? And then we've got a nice, good player base, and it's going to start going back down again, but it will keep doing this sort of trend, right? Especially if you go into just the past 5 years, it looks a little bit nice there, nicely spread out. You can see the interest of Rise of Kingdoms has been going up, right? And it's cool that we can do, again, if we look at Call of Dragons, it is the same, right? So we've got this really high spike. This spike is bigger than the one for Rise of Kingdoms, and then it's dropped down like the same, right? But it's already in the 20 to 30 zone, which is a really, really good sign. So I just wanted to show you those stats about Call of Dragons, because it might, for you guys, give you a bit more insight if you think Call of Dragons is dying or not. Because to me, I don't think it is. I think Call of Dragons is in the exact same boat as Rise of Kingdoms was. It's in that early day phase, and it's going to be one of those games where all of us players, all of us content creators currently playing and making videos for the game, basically if you keep just grinding through and keep playing through this early phase, this early 1 to 2 years, which might be a little bit of grit and bear, but we've already gone through 1 year almost. Just remember, once we've got through that early bird phase, this game will grow, and it's going to continue to grow, and I think people are going to enjoy it the more content that comes out, because once players can see there's a Season 2 map, there's a Season 3 map, there's at least these new Generation 2 heroes all out, because we're still waiting to see the 2 new heroes, Forendale and Theodore. Once all this information comes out and we can see at least what the game looks like from start all the way to almost like a season of conquest, you know, age for a Rise of Kingdoms equivalent, right? If you're trying to keep it simple for those type of players, well, guess what? You're gonna be in a good spot because you've grinded out that hard time. You can have all those heroes maxed out, and all the players are gonna flood back to Call of Dragons like we did with Rise of Kingdoms. So that's what I think. Honestly, I think Call of Dragons is fine. It's in a perfect spot. It's actually doing a lot better than I anticipated, because it's already got, like I say, Roots of War. It's already got the Season 2 map already announced and hopefully going to be showcased soon, hopefully, as well as the War Pets, the 2 new heroes already coming out, and then they've got more and more features and events hopefully coming to the game in future seasons. And I think that is when this game is gonna honestly pop off, because for my opinion, I'm not gonna say it just because I make content here, guys. You know, I've been playing Age of Titans, I've played Whiteout Survival, I've played Rock, and I've played Call of Dragons, right? I've even played old school games like March of Empires, but Call of Dragons, in my opinion, has the smoothest combat in the game. Yes, you can lag. Yes, there's some problems, but in terms of animation, in terms of speed, and just how it looks and feels, how easy is it to understand what's going on, it's really easy. And I think it's the #1 game currently in that space. And that's why I really, really do think people will, if they're willing to give it a shot, will enjoy the game the more and more time they spend with it. So thank you for watching the video. I hope to hear your comments below if you think Call of Dragons is dying, or is it what I'm saying? Is it in the early bird phase and it's growing, as you can see, imagine Rise of Kingdoms did back in the early stages. With all that said, again, smash that like, hit the subscribe button for more daily Call of Dragons content with me, MrSneakyy, an official Call of Dragons content creator, which is lovely to say every single time. So with all that said, guys, thank you for all your loyalty, thank you for all the likes, thank you for all the support, and until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out.